Hello there, here we are again, Melanie and Tim, and we are here to give you another reading from one of our books, Beaux, Grind and Punishment, and this reading comes from chapter 1. Yes, chapter 2. This reading comes from chapter 2.
Slings and arrows.
So, the twins were now 6 months old, and bonny babies. They were surprisingly good children, in the way that firstborns often seem to be. It seems that parents prepare for the worst, reliably informed in gruesome detail as to how their lives would not be worth living from the birth on. Lulled into a false sense of security by the better-than-expected first experience, parents found second children to be more like the appellation contrôlée spawn of the devil. At that stage, the subtle increase in the lack of sleep that a second child delivers will make anyone interrupting rest seem like a torturer from the Spanish Inquisition. Everyone has their breaking point.
Eleanor had a sip of her tea. "Did you hear about Cousin Piers, darling?" She couldn't quite get used to glimpsing her daughter's breast as Marky eagerly imbibed. It was so unseemly over the kitchen table. Eleanor averted her eyes. She had only breastfed in deepest privacy. "Apparently he has a girlfriend. Italian," continued Eleanor gamely. Caroline knew her mother well enough to detect disapproval from the faintest of intonations. She looked up at Eleanor. "Well, good for him. How did they meet? Is it serious?" "They met in Milan during Fashion Week. And yes, it does seem to be serious. I don't know what to make of it. But I suppose we must wait and see. He's bringing her to meet us in a couple of weeks. He wants to see the twins, so I said you would do one of your roasts. Would that work? I do hope we can fit it all in."
Although Caroline could baste with best, the prospect of cooking for perfectionist Piers, his undoubtedly exacting Italian girlfriend, and her own perennially disappointed mother, whilst all the time keeping Marky and Sadie in check, brought a slight frown to her brow. Thank goodness for Hartmut. She looked searchingly at Eleanor. "Do we know anything about her, Mother? Does she have any particular food fetishes that I might need to be aware of?" "I'm afraid he's being rather secretive about her," said Eleanor. "He won't tell me a thing." "Well, Mother, given your usual reactions, that's hardly surprising."
Eleanor mustered a look of surprised indignation before allowing herself a pinched smile. "Darling, your cousin has a weakness for the female form. He also has quite the contrariness of his dear late father. Let's face it, Piers spends all his days surrounded by those twiggy women and then chases after the first lollibrigida to cross his path. Let's just hope his latest inappropriate dalliance is over well before your wedding." Eleanor sighed. The wedding weighed heavily upon her. Although she adored the twins, she still regretted that their arrival had preceded her daughter's wedding. The marriage itself remained a sore spot. Try as she might, Eleanor could not bring herself to be thrilled by the prospect of Hartmut Glick becoming her son-in-law.
Eleanor had long hoped that Caroline would end up marrying Tarquin Henderson Smythe. That would have been a fine and acceptable development. Tarquin was such a presentable young man. He was so artistic and elegant. Caroline Napier-Jones-Henderson-Smythe would have been welcomed to so many more functions than poor Caroline Glick might be. If only Caroline had understood that marriages were alliances. Had she understood realities, there would have been Christmas banquets at opulent Harrington Court, the Henderson-Smythe's estate in Somerset. Instead, all dreams fading like lace in an attic, Eleanor's best hope appeared to be for sauerkraut in Stalag Luft. Muss I denn indeed?